Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is April 10th. It's Wednesday. It's 2024, last I looked. Hope you're having a good day. And as we always say to you at the beginning of the show, we have lots to talk about. But today we especially have lots to talk about because some things are coming to fruition that we're waiting to see if they would come to fruition. And we have a lot to say. But first, if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, you probably should. And if you want to email us, just be nice. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is be nice. You know why? Because we're nice. We respect every single one of you, regardless whether you completely disagree with us or not on anything, anywhere, as long as you live within the rule of law. If you're a crook, it's a different story. Okay, so where shall I start? What I am going to do to start off is I'm going to read to you one of my notes that I sent out just on April 2nd. That would be last Tuesday. And this goes out to the many and the media and the like. And we just do this on here. We've said this to you on here, and basically this is what we wrote. Not basically, this is what we wrote. Oil and the CRB index on the move. That's only a basket of 19 commodities. Gold, all-time highs. The 10-year yield moving above what we have stated was a vital technical area at 4.354%. This occurring while we're being told inflation is now under control. Yeah, I put in HMMM. We must state for the record, we believe the free markets before we believe one man, Jay Powell, who printed to $9 trillion, causing all kinds of distortions. As of this second, the free markets are talking higher commodity inflation. All this with bears at multi-year lows, complacency at multi-year highs, short selling has dropped markedly, all indicating where are the bears. Anything is possible, but for quite a long time, higher yields and commodities have not been good news. We are on watch. We have stated time and time again on our TV appearances that if yields head towards 5%, not sure an overvalued market could take it. Not sure would be wise for him, Jay Powell, to lower rates into a market saying otherwise. We sold most of our tech the day after the ugly March 8th reversal that continues to hold sway. Let us finish by saying if he, Jay Powell, decides to lower rates while the free markets say otherwise, remember how he was loath to raise rates as the free markets were screaming inflation. Remember the transitory? Regardless what he or anyone else thinks, we do not believe he's in control of anything. He is not the economy, we are. We are now on support levels watch. So we put that out again today. We sent it out with, and we added this. And now, OOPS, OOOPS. For all the talk by central bankers as well as this control freak administration telling us inflation is under control, we were stunned to be hearing all that while just about every commodity has been soaring, including the head honcho in oil prices. It seems their butlers have been buying their food and their chauffeurs have been filling their gas tanks of their Bentleys. Maybe if they got out into the real world, they would have seen and experienced what all of us have been seeing and experiencing, higher prices. Our usual Starbucks espresso and breakfast sandwich that used to cost $6.99 are now nearing $10. Party-sized chips nearing the size of the old normal size chips. Insurance costs soaring, and we can go on and on. As we write this, The 10-year yield is 4.55%. Every tick higher is a bad tick, as combined with oil prices, one heck of a 1-2 punch. Wish we had better news, and oh yeah, quite the tops in many areas of the market, at least on a near-term basis. So what happened today? So inflation number came out hotter than expected. And we've been just saying to you on this show, if commodities matter to inflation, and in plain sight, every one of us go to the gas stations and gas prices are way up. In plain sight, we go to the supermarkets and prices are way up. In plain sight, we get our bills for auto, home, and health insurance, and they are way up. Those who have rented, way up. And with oil prices going higher, everything that is made with petroleum goes up. And then you add these miscreants in government that are raising minimum wage to $20 in California. That's another problem. So what happened today, and under our motto, one of our most famous, it's not the news, it's how the market reacts to the news. The bond market sold off markedly, and the 10-year yield today went up almost 2 points to 4.560%. We already told you recently about the breakout above 4.354. Well, we have no idea what happens tomorrow. Maybe it turns back down. All we can tell you, and as we said to you for days, it really looks like it wants to go higher. And it did today, under what has been staring us in the face, and that is inflation. And I must tell you, the numbers that come from the government, I don't believe really cover what's really going on. But most importantly, the market reacted. That's what counts the most to us. Big time. And as we have said to you, because of what we saw on March 8th, the big reversal top in the semis and tech, on the next day we sold most of our tech. Except for we still own Facebook, which is extraordinarily strong. And we made a couple of mistakes. We sold Amazon, that's up higher, I must tell you that. We sold Microsoft, that's up higher, but not much. And we also sold AMD over 200, it's 166. So, yeah, there's that. But if interest rates keep going higher with oil prices, fundamentally, what matters to you and I, the kitchen table, what you talk about with your family at the kitchen table, your cost to borrow is going up, and your cost to buy goes up. And that is a headwind for the economy and markets. To what extent, we don't know. But it's fundamental. It really is. It's a fundamental theory that one really should not be arguing, because we've seen in it. And let me be clear, I'm not so sure how bad things get. Not a good day in the market today. More deterioration. I don't know how far we go. But all I can tell you, if interest rates keep going up, headwind, especially for anything housing related, interest rate sensitive. And it's by no accident that today housing stocks and things like Winnebago and Thor Industries, mobile homes, things like Home Depot and Lowe's and Restoration Hardware and Williams-Sonoma and Floor & Decor all got blasted. That's for starters. Because as you already know, we've been telling you about a bunch of software stocks that have broken down and some other areas. So we'll see what the outcome is. We'll go over the final numbers in a minute. We'll go through some areas. We're just letting you know, I don't think the fork was put in today. I think some areas the fork was put in today. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Let us not forget, the Marxist control freak in chief, part of this is that they are overspending by the tune of $2 to $3 trillion bucks, and they think there will be no repercussions. Up next, lots more. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So let's get on that. Your Marxist control freak president, whether you love him or not, here are the facts, is spending over $2 to $3 trillion more than he has taken in. That is inflationary. If you look up the words, too much money chasing too few, and you can put the word in hands, things, stuff, or anything, that is what the definition of what causes inflation. They actually think there's no repercussion. Just remember, we're not talking 100 billion of deficit. We're not talking 500 billion. We're not talking a trillion, which is a sin. 2 to 3 trillion, our debt has gone up 2.7 trillion, and these freaking journalists do ever bring it up. These biased freaking journalists that are supposed to be, you know what they're supposed to be? Our line of defense against the powerful. They do it with Trump. They give Donald Trump a colonoscopy 24/7. 24/7. This guy in the White House, not a freaking word over massive, gargantuan debt and deficits, and this Marxist control freak came out yesterday again and said he lowered the debt to $1 trillion bucks. What a lying sack. He makes Trump look like a truth teller, and that is a high bar to get over. So that's another part of the problem. And then, just so you know, a President of the United States is not supposed to be telling other countries what to do with their elections and all that. And what have they been doing? They've been trying to tell Israel what to do and how to do it. And they don't even freaking mention the hostages. What does he do today? He jawbones. You know what jawbones mean? Jawbone is? It means he yapped away to send a message to Jay Powell. He yapped away and said, well, we think they're going to lower rates. That is a message to Jay Powell, not by accident. And here's the problem. And I want you to listen carefully. Do you remember when inflation was picking up, but this Jay Powell just sat there? And do you remember when Janet Yellen, another buzzard that doesn't even know what day it is, and the president and Jay Powell came out and said there isn't any inflation? Do you remember that? There's no inflation. Well, we're on radio and on TV saying, what are these people smoking? There's no inflation. And then the inflation picks up. And then they came out, well, it's just transitory. Do not worry. All is well. And inflation went to 9%. By their statistics, which really is 15, 20%. And then finally, Jay Powell kicking and screaming and had to drag him into raising rates, and he started with a quarter little point. While the real market, the free market, 10-year yield was soaring, I do a little quarter point. And then all hell broke loose, didn't it? So what did he do? Oh, crap. And then he had to raise rates and catch up to the free market that he's not supposed to interfere with, that he did by printing to $9 trillion. So he caught up and went above. What if the free market, which is so much more important than him, is telling us, look out? And the 10-year yield keeps going up, but he decides to lower rates? Do you think inflation can go skyrocket again to 8, 9%? That's my dog in the background. I'm worried. These people, I've tried to tell you for years, do not know what they're doing. They have never been in the business world. They're academics. Jay Powell was an attorney. And this guy is printing to $9 trillion and taking over the biggest market in the world, the bond market? Sheer insanity. That will be my worry going forward. Now, with interest rates really spiking today, the talk of him lowering rates sooner rather than later may be tabled. And they better be very careful with what they say now. And as I said, they really need to shut the heck up. Every day, I say to you, every time on TV, I say, just watch the 10-year yield. It'll dictate. And it was up almost 2 sticks today, from 4.366 to 4.560. You may not know this. That is a gargantuan move in one day. Now, I have no idea what happens tomorrow. But Jay Powell better be careful. Remember, he printed to $9 trillion, buying up the whole bond market, getting rates down. That was inflationary. He better not do it again. He better take the medicine and let markets be. Because what have I told you? The ultimate outcome of these massive debts and deficits and control freaks. So really don't want to use big verbiage. The Dow was down 422, was down 550. The S&P down 40, NASDAQ 136, which is not so bad. It was down, I think, 190. NASDAQ 100 down 156, but other areas, the transports down 366, I believe. Yeah, that's a big drop for the transports. The Russell 2000 today was down 52, about 2.5%. And then the housing related, very rough day, down 3 3/4 to 4% for the housing, the ITB, the U.S. home construction's 4.7%. And may I state for the record, those areas look like tops because yields breaking out to the upside and sticking. Advanced declines today, 590 up, 3533 down on the New York, 882 up, 3200 down on the NASDAQ. More new lows than new highs on the NASDAQ by fourfold, and more new lows than new highs on the New York. That was the NASDAQ the first go round. 4 times on the NASDAQ. So very rough day. The only stock we own is Meta right now, is up $1.50 today. Go figure. You had a little bit, NVIDIA was up 16 after opening down 15 because somebody raised targets. And there's a smattering of things that were up. The crypto was up today. Oil stocks were up today because oil prices were up another stick. But just overall, just ugh. And I have yet to do my scans because we wanted to wait for the end of the day. But I can tell you from the start, what we do is we'll have one sheet, a long legal pad sheet with all the names above the 21-day moving average, the 50-day. We're doing a bunch of crossing out today. Deterioration. Up next, what's next? We'll see. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
Okay. A few other things. Gold was finally down today, but that is so due. So due. The Donald Trump media stock, you're welcome, down another 3 and change today to 34. It's gone from 80 to 34. What did we told you? It's not worth. It's single digits. But you can't. Believe me, I was looking to try and short it. You can't. They wanted to charge you 150% to short the stock. Which, forget it. You ain't doing it. And again, nothing political, but we want to keep your emotions in check, especially you people that love the man so much. God bless you. 136 million shares outstanding. They have less than 4 million in revenues and loses $50 million a year and no growth. It's single digits. Reddit. We warned you about Reddit. It's gone from 75 to 42 in 10 business days. And as we said to you, the miscreants on Wall Street did it again. They jump over dollars and get dimes. And it's going to be tougher to bring out more IPOs when you bring out your IPOs at ridiculous valuations. Almost guaranteeing anybody who buys in the secondary market is going to lose money. They're such morons. By the way, it's headed to its IPO almost. I think the IPO was $36. And just my screens are pretty much on the beat red side today. I'll tell you what I like, though. One of our other mottos. It's easiest to isolate strength when the market's weak. So we are watching every growth name that's holding up, holding support levels. And I'm letting you know there's a decent amount of names that are just don't even give a crap what the market's doing. At the lows today, we're down like almost 600 and down 200 on the NASDAQ. And NVIDIA was up. Taiwan Semiconductor was up. Facebook was up. Meta. And a few others were hardly down. What are we doing? Oh, we just have them in one area of our screen. And we're going to just pay attention. Amazon was hardly down. Google was hardly down. But of course, we have earnings. Big amount of earnings in the next couple of weeks for them, and that'll dictate some policy on them. So we have a lot, we told you we have a lot of cash at this juncture, and we're going to be patient as all heck and see where this takes us. And again, not trying to sound too overtly on the bearish side, except to say boy, oh boy, some pretty significant tops. Housing related, a bunch of transports. We think, remember, we've been telling you these building construction stocks have been beneficiaries of the Marxist in chief and their ridiculous spending. They look like they're getting topped in here also. And then this whole list of stocks in software related and stuff like that remain just in bear mode, whether it's Adobe or Snowflake, or let me throw a few more at you, Twilio, Shopify, which is not necessarily software, Zscaler, Workday, Intuit. They're all topped for now, and if more join the top contingent, that could be trouble. The IGV, which is the software ETF, is still holding this area around, we'll call it 82, 83, and it's going to need to stick. If it breaks, we'll let you know, and it just means we're weakening a little bit more. But just you don't need me to tell you the problem with price. And you all should be smart enough now to not listen to these blankety blanks in DC trying to tell us the opposite. They're trying to tell you it's sunny out when it's raining. They're trying to tell you it's raining when it's sunny out. They're trying to tell you don't believe your eyes and don't believe your wallet. We're telling you, believe in reality. They don't give a crap about you until election time. Just remember that. Notice he's amping up, handing out our tax dollars to people that sign contracts to pay off their loans. Vote for me. It would be so easy if we had a Mitch Daniels running in the Republican Party for the presidency. It would be so much better if DeSantis, though he's got his issues too, was running. Trump, I still can't get over. So many things. But as we have said to you, it's a binary choice. And Biden has to go. This country cannot live off the massive debt and deficits and control freakism of him for 4 more years. But we know what we're going to get with, well, actually, we know what we're going to get with both. Okay, never mind. We'll move on. But that's the story today. In a nutshell. Inflation. Powers to be don't get it. And we'll see where it takes us. There's too much talk of the Fed. Just watch the 10-year yield. It was yelling today. Tomorrow, maybe it backs down. Who knows? Maybe it backs down tomorrow. Actually, we hope. We don't want interest rates going up. We want them coming down. We're not talking Jay Powell. We're talking about the free market. That still gets a lot of short shrift. So just remember, sometimes everything we need to know is staring us right in the face. A Boeing. Well, down another 3.5 today. A whistleblower will be testifying in the next week on Capitol Hill. There is no doubt in my mind we are going to find out that they have been, and I hope we don't, but there's no doubt in my mind that they have, I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but I think you get where I'm going. Once, twice, 3 times, not good. 4, 5, 6 times, one has to ask, what the hell is going on here? And the big one is, thank the Lord, there has not been another disaster like we had in, what was it, 18 and 19? Was it Indonesia and Ethiopia? Thank the Lord that door came off at 16,000 feet, not 35,000 feet, or that thing would have blown apart. Thank the Lord that nobody was sitting in that window seat, and the person next to the window seat was strapped in. And I don't thank the Lord enough, I think. I did call my rabbi, though, to say a little something for my dad, who, by the way, is home and whining and complaining, which means he's in pretty decent shape, I guess. What can I tell you? And again, we got a lot more emails last night wishing us well, wishing my father well, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Inflation. In case you don't know, the post office 3 months ago had an increase in stamps from 66 to 68 cents. They're now asking from 68 to 73 cents. Inflation. Catching my drift? Inflation. Stamps. I bought a bunch of Forever stamps a while ago so I can use them at lower prices. I think, right? That's why they call them Forever stamps. I think. Anything else stick out for me today? No, it was icky. Up next, what else is going on with the world? I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I don't get into it with anybody on Twitter / whatever it's called, X now. So I put out this little note because the head of the UN climate, just another, control freak Marxist, comes out and says we have 2 years or else on the climate. So I just put a note out there. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old, but this lying sack comes out and tells us we have 2 years. And somebody didn't attack me, but and it's just like playing tic-tac-toe. You can't win, so why play the game? The only thing I say is, do not forget, they told us it was global cooling. It got hot. They changed it to global warming. It got cold. They got some advertising agency / marketing company to come in. Okay, listen, we've been wrong on everything. How do we figure this out to make sure we're right all the time? Oh, climate change. So if it's hot, it's climate change. If it's cold, it's climate change. If the icebergs are coming back, it's climate change. If there's too many hurricanes, climate change. If not enough hurricanes, it's climate change. So some guy jumped on me and I just gave him that. And they can't say another word. And then he comes back and asks me the question about, well, what do you think? I try to explain to him, we can't stop hurricanes. We can't stop tornadoes. We can't stop the wind and the rain and the cold and the heat. We have 4.5 billion years of a lot of heat. We've had freezes. We've had everything. We've had big hurricane years, less. They're trying to tell us we're having extreme weather right now. It's a complete lie. We've had much worse weather ages ago. And as I tell everybody, you want to help out, just pollution. Do whatever you can to not have pollution. And companies are doing a great job going green. These idiots that are sitting there in the middle of highways stopping traffic because of it, what are they doing for anybody? They're such morons. They're wearing these vests that are made of petroleum, and they don't even know it. Again, tic-tac-toe. You can't debate, so why even play? Just remember, this is all marketing. It's all about money. We can all do our thing to help the environment. We can all do our thing to do better. Terrific. But I don't want to hear from people like Al Gore and John Kerry telling us we have to do this or that while they're on freaking private jets and getting on their yachts. They can go screw. I don't want, and I would tell it straight to their miserable faces. And the same for the celebrities and anybody else. And just remember, there's this little sign. It's a dollar sign. That's what it's all about. Joe Biden's handed out $380 billion of our tax dollars to one man, a Democratic hack named John Podesta, to dole out on climate. And they're going to be grants, never get paid back. Who are they going to? And I guarantee you it's donors, cronies, relatives, friends, and I guarantee you they're all in Delaware, where everybody opens up a corporation. There's a bunch of crappy startups, and they're all going to get our bucks and absolutely do nothing for the environment. That's what's going on. And I'd say it to all their faces. Do you know they did this thing in Davos, Switzerland? This big confab where all these mucky mucks are. And all they talked about was taking care of the climate. There were like 300 private jets. Instead of taking Swiss Air to Zurich and then driving to Davos, which I once did, by the way, it's very beautiful. 300 private jets. Those 300 private jets would be 1,000 of our lifetimes in our car. Yet they were all telling us what we have to do for the environment. 2 words, up yours. And that's how we roll. And every time this pops up and is brought up, we're going to let you know that they are the greatest con artists in history from top down, and you just need to know it. And you need to know its dollar signs. You need to know it. And somewhere along the line, hopefully, we get some heroes that understand the words, we the people. The people in D.C. don't believe that. We all have become their slush fund, and now this guy, gargantuan is not even the word about what he is doing in numbers. Gargantuan. And where it stops, I don't know, but you do know what I think is at the end of this road. And hopefully, sooner rather than later, it can be stopped. We've got to get to the point again where when they get $1, they spend $1. Do you know right now they're spending like $1.80 for every dollar we send them now? This is a criminal act that is not on the books as criminal. It's a criminal act, not on the books as criminal. Making Madoff and this FTX mudhound and every other con artist into just pikers, nothings. Absolutely nothings. We will keep calling them out. We will keep ripping them apart, because when all is said and done, it's going to affect you, the economy, your industry, your jobs, the markets, the future. And they know they're going to be dead or retired by that time with lots of bucks in their hand. There's a bunch of them worth 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million bucks on $180,000 salaries, and no one investigating that. And you want to know why we're PO'd. That all said, I'll be on with Varney and Company tomorrow at 10 a.m., Fox Business Network. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. That was another spam call. And again, 10 a.m. tomorrow, same time tomorrow, this show. Thanks for joining us. Always an honor and a privilege that you would be listening to anything we have to say. Have a good night, everybody. Stay well, be well. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.